common reason why people experience shoulder blade pain or kind of that upper back, middle back kind of tightness or this kind of achy, painful sensation, it's usually one that's really hard to kind of get rid of. It's often located right here, right where we're talking about that shoulder blade, and then just kind of off to the side. Can be right across that back, so super stiff. What causes that? Why does it happen? Why is it super common with golfers? And then why is it just common in general for people to kind of have that pain in that upper middle back? Well, the big reason why has a lot to do with what you're doing every single day. The postures you find yourself in chronically or over periods of time. You know, are you at a desk all day where you're just rounded forward and sitting like this, putting certain muscles on to stretch and other muscles are like being lengthened and others are being shortened? Is it, you know, the nature of imbalances in strength in the front and the back side of that shoulder or on the torso? But also, we have to look at things such as the neck. We have to look at things such as how well that rib cage can expand, and that comes down to the breath. Often a lot of people can't get enough expansion into this area. That shoulder blade, that's where that humerus arm bone attaches into, creates that ball and socket joint. But that shoulder blade glides over that rib cage. It has to glide over when you reach your arm up, reach your arm across. It has to be stable to do that, but it also needs to have a surface that allows for it. And often that rib cage is kind of, you could call it static, or it doesn't want to dynamically allow it as well when it's not able to expand. So what are we going to do about it? We're going to go through some exercises here to try to work on kind of expansion of that area, but then some light strengthening exercises to try to help open that up. All right, so first one here, we're going to be down kind of on the ground, hands and knees position. Take a book, take a kind of thinner weight plate, if you will, but essentially it should be just a few inches, no more than 3 or 4, of where one is kind of staggered or elevated from the other. What this is going to do is it's going to change kind of that dynamic positioning where we're going to be able to push from. Because with this exercise, we're just on our hands and knees. And we're going to breathe in, and we're going to try to really round that upper back, kind of give it some flexion. Flexion meaning this direction, not this way. We want to round forward, but we want to do it through pressing through our hands, little flexion or little bend in the elbow. But we're in this position, we're going to breathe in, 50-50 weight between the hands and the knees here. Breathe in, and we're pushing away from the ground. And now, as you see, I'm really kind of trying to create that arch through my upper back there. Breathing in and out. Making sure you're not letting those shoulders go to the ears. We want to make sure we keep the shoulders out of the ears so we're not shrugging up. We're kind of thinking, all right, shoulders down, push away. Make sure that upper back is rounding. In a way, we're trying to get that separation between that shoulder blade and that spine. So that little pocket of area where you feel that tension and discomfort. So breathe in. Really trying to feel that separation. So breathe in. See that rounding kind of happening as I'm pushing away. We're really working on trying to get that posterior expansion of that rib cage with the breath. It's going to help kind of alleviate that tension in those areas that you're kind of struggling with, that upper back. So another one, you can kind of position yourself where I kind of have to do it this way, where I'm sitting on the bench. Ideally, you want to be able to have your legs a little bit more in together. So think at a desk. Doesn't have to be this high. Really right here is sufficient, but I'm going to have this a little bit more elevated here. So we don't want to shrug up into the shoulders, but this is going to be a similar kind of concept to the one that we've done before. We're going to work on this right side. And for demonstration, without this arm being in the way, we're just gonna try to move it forward a few inches from the other side. And so it looks like this. We're kind of breathing in, breathing out, and we're pushing this elbow forward very slightly, but we're not like rounding backward and losing that tall position that we're in. We want to maintain that tall position. We're going to breathe in. We're trying to push, round, flex that upper back region. Breathe in, breathe out. Trying to push that right elbow forward. I'm working my right side here. I'm making sure my shoulder's not going up into my ear. I'm not shrugging, keeping it down. And so we're really trying to feel that breath expand into that area in that rib cage by that shoulder blade. So next here, what we're going to be working on is activating the lower trapezius muscle, which is often that big kind of ropey muscle that you might feel at the bottom of that shoulder blade that kind of goes along the spine. It can feel kind of achy, kind of along the spine typically for people, but this one in particular, we're kind of strengthening it. We're making sure we're not shrugging our shoulder up. We want to make sure that shoulder stays down and kind of in a back position as we go through that motion. And next here, what we're going to go through is a serratus punch. It's the serratus anterior muscle that we're going to be working. And the purpose here is to try to get that shoulder blade to be able to forwardly glide and in a way upwardly rotate is what we would call, or protract as well. Those are the different kind of functions. But where I'm pointing to right there is kind of where you would want to feel this exercise, into that shoulder blade region, really isolating that area back there, keeping the arm straight throughout the motion. And then here's a variation of just working it with one arm instead of both arms being in front. When you work it with one arm, I really want you to concentrate on keeping that arm straight and then pushing that shoulder blade forward, making sure not to shrug up that shoulder to the ear. We want it to stay nice and down as we punch forward our entire shoulder girdle through this exercise. And next here, what we have here is a pec major kind of release, where we're kind of moving our arm dynamically through a range of motion, kind of a crossing pattern. You can kind of grab that pectoral muscle tissue as you glide it through that full range of motion, trying to help with the tension from the front of the shoulders that can dictate how that shoulder blade moves. All right, so that wraps up talking about how we can kind of start working on that upper back tightness, stiffness, and pain that you might be feeling into that shoulder blade, into the upper back, middle back area. If you have any more questions about that, if you like this kind of style of content, let me know. Let me know what you want to see in the comments below. And if you haven't already, we'd love for you to subscribe and turn that bell notification on so that you can hear, or see when we're releasing new content, new videos. But again, let us know what you want to see. And until next time, let's change the game.